My life unraveled the day I walked away from her, or so they thought. The whispers followed me like a shadow, branding me the villain who broke their angel's heart. Little did they know, the truth was a blade she wielded, cutting deeper than any lie I could have told. I met Lily 3 years ago at a coffee shop, her laugh like sunlight breaking through a storm. She was charming, witty, the kind of woman who made you believe in forever. I fell hard, and by the 6-month mark, I was down on one knee, a ring in my hand and stars in my eyes. Her parents, the Hendersons, welcomed me like a son. They were the picture of warmth, Mr. Henderson with his hearty laugh, Mrs. Henderson with her endless trays of homemade cookies. We were a family, or so I thought, until the cracks began to show. It started small. Lily's late nights at work, her phone glued to her hand, the way her eyes darted away when I asked about her day. I chalked it up to stress, maybe wedding jitters. We were planning a spring ceremony, after all. But then came the text I wasn't supposed to see. A coworker, Mark, whose name popped up too often, whose messages carried a tone too intimate for just friends. When I confronted her, she cried, swore it was nothing, and I wanted to believe her. I did believe her until I caught them together at a bar, her hand on his arm, her laugh the same one she'd once saved for me. The confrontation was brutal. Lily didn't deny it. She admitted to months of sneaking around, blaming me for being too predictable, too focused on our future. I was gutted, but I didn't yell. I just walked away, leaving the ring on the table. That was the last time we spoke. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. A week later, I got a call from Mrs. Henderson. Her voice was venom. How dare you abandon our daughter like that, she spat. You think you can just toss her aside and walk away? I was stunned. Abandon, toss aside, I tried to explain, but she hung up. Then came Mr. Henderson's email, a scathing tirade about my cowardice and how I'd ruined Lily's life. Friends we'd shared stopped talking to me. Invitations to gatherings dried up. Even my own family started getting sidelong glances at community events. The Hendersons were pillars in our small town, their influence a net I couldn't escape. And Lily. She told them I'd dumped her out of the blue, that I'd grown cold, distant, and cruel. She painted herself as the victim, and me as the monster. The betrayal stung worse than the breakup. I'd loved her, planned a life with her, and now I was the town pariah because of her lies. I tried reaching out to the Hendersons, sending emails, even showing up at their house once, but they slammed the door in my face. You don't get to rewrite the story. Mr. Henderson growled through the crack before it shut. I was losing everything, my reputation, my friends, my sense of self, all because I dared to walk away from a woman who cheated on me. Months passed, and the isolation grew heavier. I threw myself into work, hoping to drown out the noise, but the Hendersons' campaign against me didn't stop. They told anyone who'd listen that I'd broken Lily's heart, that I was untrustworthy, a quitter. My boss even pulled me aside one day, asking if the rumors were true, his tone implying I'd better have a good explanation. I didn't. How do you prove you're not the villain when the whole world believes you are? The turning point came at a community fundraiser, one of those annual events where everyone pretends to get along. I almost didn't go, but my sister, Emma, insisted. You can't keep hiding, she said, her voice firm but kind. So I went, steeling myself for the cold shoulders and whispered gossip. What I didn't expect was Mark. He was there, arm around Lily, both of them laughing like they hadn't a care in the world. My stomach churned, but I kept my distance. Then I overheard Mrs. Henderson talking to a group of women, her voice dripping with pity. Poor Lily, she said, after what that boy did to her. Thank God she found someone like Mark. That was it. Something in me snapped, not out of anger, but out of exhaustion. I was tired of being the scapegoat, tired of carrying the weight of her lies. I approached the group, my heart pounding. Mrs. Henderson, I said, loud enough for others to turn. Can we talk? Her face hardened, but I didn't back down. I think it's time we cleared something up. The room went quiet, eyes on us like we were a scene in a movie. Lily froze, her hand gripping Mark's arm. I didn't look at her. This wasn't about her anymore. I didn't abandon your daughter. I said, my voice steady despite the knot in my chest. She cheated on me. With him. I nodded toward Mark, whose face went pale. I found out, and I walked away. That's the truth. I'm sorry you were lied to, but I'm not the villain here. The silence was deafening. Mrs. Henderson's mouth opened, then closed. Mr. Henderson, who'd been across the room, pushed through the crowd, his face red. You're lying, he barked, but his voice wavered. I saw it then, the crack in their certainty. They'd believed their daughter because they wanted to, because the alternative was too painful. Lily stepped forward, her eyes wide with panic. That's not true, she stammered. He's twisting everything, but her voice lacked conviction, and Mark wouldn't meet anyone's gaze. The crowd murmured, the tide shifting. I didn't need to say more. The truth was out, raw and undeniable. Later that night, Mrs. Henderson called me. Her voice was different, soft, broken. We didn't know. She said, Lily told us. We thought. She trailed off, and I could hear her crying. I wanted to be angry, to tell her they should have trusted me. But all I felt was pity. They'd been betrayed too, by the daughter they'd put on a pedestal. Mr. Henderson reached out the next day, his apology stiff but sincere. They invited me to dinner, a gesture to make amends, but I declined. Some wounds heal, but the scars remain. Life didn't snap back to normal. The gossip faded, but the damage was done. I'd lost friends, trust, a piece of myself, but I also gained something clarity. I realized I'd spent too long trying to prove my worth to people who'd already judged me. I started over, not just in love, but in life. I moved to a new city, found a job I loved, and surrounded myself with people who saw me for who I was, not who I'd been painted to be. Lily, I heard she and Mark didn't last. Her lies caught up with her, as they always do. I don't wish her ill. I just wish her truth. Because in the end, that's what sets you free, not the stories you tell, but the ones you live. What do you think? Was I right to speak out? Or should I have stayed silent and let the lies fester? Share your thoughts on where the line between truth and loyalty lies.